You wake up with a pounding head pinned under a collapsed mud brick wall, your legs numb. Dust chokes your lungs, and the air stinks of ash and blood. You're Enzu, a baker of barley flatbread, and your city, screams. A crackle of fire mingles with the faint laughter of invaders somewhere out of view. You push against the rubble, your hands rough from kneading dough, scraping at broken clay. Lilitu, your wife, and Ninsun, your daughter, were not with you when the attack came. No, they are out there in the madness. You have to find them. The wall gives way and you stumble to your feet, your apron still dusted with the morning's flour, now smeared with soot and some of your blood. You look out on the carnage. The street before you is a slaughterhouse, no longer a place of neatly tended gardens where Ninsun chased sparrows, giggling. Bodies sprawl in heaps. Men and women are a tangle of limbs, their torn robes, feet and arms twisted at awkward angles. A lute lies shattered, its strings curling like dead vines stained with blood. The air feels wrong, shimmering, as if has slipped into a shadow realm or nightmare. You shout for Lilitu or for Ninsun, your voice cracking, but your calls are lost in the din of screams and collapsing homes. Invaders with bronze spears slowly walk the street, their eyes gleaming with cruel joy. They guzzle alcohol from broken vats, the same sour brew you shared with Lilitu over flatbread and lentil stew. One smears date syrup on his spear, licking it with a grin, while another kicks a woman's body, mocking her stillness. Their laughter is a blade, sharper than any weapon. A man lies gutted, his hand clutching a copper bracelet. A child's body is crushed under chariot wheels. The city feels unmoored, its streets twisting into something grotesque. You stagger toward the market where Lilitu took Ninsun for figs this morning. The stalls are a wreckage, sesame cakes and lentils scattered like gravel, their scent drowned by the reek of death. A woman clutches a shattered jar, date syrup pooling like blood beneath her. You scan the faces of the dead, your heart hammering. None are Lilitu or Ninsun, but each could be. The square feels alien, its edges blurred, as if reality frays at the seams. You call their names, your throat raw, your voice a faint echo in the storm of destruction. The ziggurat looms ahead, its steps once bright under the moonlight, now black with soot and blood. The temple is a husk. Statues of the gods stand scarred, their stone eyes gouged, arms hacked off. You used to leave flatbread here, watching dancers sway to lutes under the starlight. Now, this sacred space is a wound, its silence heavier than the screams. You fall to your knees, flour from your hands mixing with ash, and whisper a prayer, but the air is empty, the gods gone. The ground trembles as itself shudders in betrayal. Hello, fellow mutants. We'll continue the story in just a bit, but before that, let's talk about ancient empires and why their fall hits so close to home in today's world. Today's topic is the Crumble of Civilizations. Like the mighty city of once the beating heart of Sumeria, a place of grand ziggurats, bustling markets, and what must have felt like eternal prosperity. But as we've just seen, it all came crashing down in a storm of invasion and abandonment. Sound similar? Empires rise with a sense of invincibility, convinced their walls are unbreakable, the divine are on their side, and their economies too big to fail. Yet history shows us otherwise, from to Rome, and maybe even to modern powers, or the so-called global order we know today. The lament for the destruction of upon which my opening story was based, is one of the oldest surviving pieces of literature, an ancient Sumerian dirge composed around 2000 BC, mourning the fall of the city of after its defeat by the Elamites. Written in the voice of the goddess Ningal, It's not just a cry of grief, but a cosmic reckoning. Temples abandoned, gods silent, and the people of left to suffer as divine will unfolds. The poem is in 11 stanzas, each painting a scene of devastation, divine withdrawal, and human despair. Ningal pleads with the higher gods Anu and Enlil to spare her city, but they've already decreed its ruin. Consider the city of around 2000 BC. It was a powerhouse, with advanced irrigation, trade routes stretching far, and a society that thought it was the center of the world. People baked bread, bartered goods, and prayed in temples, much like we do with our daily routines. But decline crept in, omens ignored, rivers drying up, political factions clashing. Then, bam, the Elamite invaders sacked it, turning a thriving city into ruins overnight. The poem that inspired this tale, The Lament for captures that shock, the gods fleeing, bodies piling up, everything familiar turns strange and horrific. It's a reminder that no empire is immune. Normalcy bias keeps us thinking, it can't happen here. But look at Venezuela's hyperinflation, Lebanon's collapse, or even the slow-motion strain seen in the U.S. with debt bubbles, political division, and supply chain cracks. In our world, we see the signs. Stock markets volatile, inflation eating away at fiat dollars faster than termites on wood, and regimes, whether elected or otherwise, grasping for enough control through digital currencies that they can flip on or off like a switch. What if the grid goes down or cyber attacks wipe out bank accounts? Suddenly those dollars are just paper blowing in the wind, like in our story. Blockchains as well. Where do blockchains go when the grid is down? America's sense of invincibility and, by broader context, the current world order, mirrors Ur's. Western civilization is the superpower, with endless tech and military might. But empires fall when internal rot meets external pressure. Factions battling in the streets no longer seems as strange an idea as it might have 5 years ago. And just like Ur's people clung to hope until the end, we might too, until it's too late. What were the reasons that fell? It had an over-centralized economy. The state was highly bureaucratic, with temples and palaces controlling agriculture, trade, and labor through detailed cuneiform records. This system, while efficient in its time, became strained under the leadership of Ibn Sin. Administrative texts show disruptions in grain distribution and labor management, suggesting economic fragility. Taxation and resource depletion. Heavy taxation to support Ur's vast bureaucracy and military campaigns drained local resources. Texts from cities like Umma and Lagash indicate shortages of grain and goods, which weakened urban centers dependent on central authority. Trade disruptions. Relied on trade for copper from Oman Magan and tin for bronze, but rebellions and external pressures disrupted these routes. Remember my video on tin? The importance it had to making bronze? Cuneiform records note reduced shipments from Dilmun, now known as Bahrain, impacting metal supplies crucial for tools and weapons. That's where prepping comes in, mutants. Diversification isn't just for stocks, it's for survival. Water, food, silver. These things are staples you know and are told to hold tight. But for those everyday trades in a crumbling world, enter copper. It's an unsung hero in my view. Low in the totem pole but steady as a rock. Unlike silver that swings from $17 to $40 an ounce in months and has fewer practical uses, copper hovers around $2 for 1 ounce a round. Affordable, portable, intrinsically valuable for tech, wiring, or even primitive tools. Easily fashioned or made into an alloy as needed, it is highly versatile. Historically, it's been the currency everywhere, from ancient coins to modern pennies, even if they're zinc now or some other kind of alloy. In a collapse, where paper burns and digits vanish, copper endures. A copper bullion round or bar is perfect for bartering the small stuff. A basket of apples, some medicine, without flashing your big-ticket preps like gold, sacks of rice, or ammo. I've been stacking copper for years, and it's maintained a similar value. Especially if you get limited or collectible rounds like the Prospector series, they'll hold their value and then some at auction sites. Grab it in shiny rounds or bars from places like Liberty Copper or the Golden State Mint. Look for designs that are limited in nature, attractive, but not so unique that they appear to be fiat currency. There are pieces that look sharp in any collection, crisis or not. Why copper? Because in the event of societal breakdown, when familiar turns alien, having something real and pure in your hands beats virtual promises and copper or silver-plated lies. It's a hedge against the tempest, just like in ancient times. Now, let's continue the story I started earlier. You push toward the potter's quarter, weaving through invaders, roasting fish over fires by sacred scrolls. The flames cast shadows that twist unnatural, as if the city spirit writhes in agony. A man stumbles past, blood dripping from a severed arm, clutching a stale loaf of your bread. Useless now, like the one you broke for Ninsen yesterday, her small fingers sticky with date syrup. You scream her name, your voice breaking. An invader turns, spear raised, and you duck into an alley, your chest heaving. The alley is a charnel house, bodies piled there also like broken reeds. Singers, their throats slashed, besides dancers, their limbs bent and broken. Their faces, once familiar from temple feasts, are now strange, eyes staring into a void you can't name. The horror is liminal, the world neither alive nor dead, but something worse, a place where meaning has fled. You step over shattered pottery, your sandals crunching, and spot a scrap of blue. Ninsen's sash, caught on a cart's splintered edge. Your heart lurches, then sinks. It's torn, empty. You clutch it, the fabric soft against your rough hands, and shout for Lilitu. A moan pulls you to a collapsed stall. Lilitu lies there, her robe bloodied, her face pale as clay. Enzu, she gasps, her hand trembling. She's alive. You kneel, cradling her, your fingers brushing her cheek. Ninsen, she whispers. They took her, towards the gates. Your vision blurs with tears. Across the square, invaders herd captives, women, children, into carts. You see a flash of blue, Ninsen's small form struggling, her cry faint. You lunge, but Lilitu grabs your arm, her grip weak. They'll kill you, she pleads. You roar, tearing free, and run, your baker's hands useless against their spears, you know, but you must try. An invader blocks you, his fist crashing into your jaw. You collapse, tasting blood, the world spinning. Ninsen's cry fades as the cart vanishes into dust. You crawl back to Lilitu, your body shaking. She's slumped, her breath shallow. You lift her, carrying her to a grain cellar. Its air thick with barley scent, now sour with fear. You find a stale flatbread in your pouch, breaking it for her. She shakes her head, her eyes distant. Ninsen loved your bread, she murmurs, a tear falling. You choke on your piece, the taste of ash drowning the memory of her laughter. The cellar feels like a grave, its walls pressing in. The world outside is a nightmare. Ur's streets twisted into a place where gods and men betray. Hours pass, or minutes, you can't tell. Silence falls, broken by distant laughter. You help Lilitu out, her weight light as a child's. The Euphrates runs red, its banks littered with broken pots, fish bones, lives. Invaders lounge amidst the ruin, gnawing stolen figs and other food, their eyes glinting with cruel joy. The ziggurat stands like a broken tooth, its shadow cold and empty. You join a ragged band of survivors, limping toward the desert. You carry Lilitu, finding a pouch of dried figs in the rubble. You press one to her lips. She finally eats, her eyes flickering with life. The moon rises, cold, mocking. Ninsen is gone, her fate a shadow in your mind. You see her in every gust of wind, hear her in every silence, trapped in this space between hope and something worse. The city of Ur is a ghost, and you are its mourner, stumbling into a dawn that feels like dusk. But in your pocket, you feel a small copper amulet, once a trinket from the market, now a symbol of endurance. It's not much, but in this shattered world, it's everything. And there we are, fellow mutants. Will we be combing the streets like Enzu someday, or lone wolves seeking shelter? Who can say if our modern world will echo Ur's fate, but it couldn't hurt to be prepared, diversified and ready for when the ziggurats crumble. Stack some copper, mutants. It's more than metal. It's peace of mind. Well, that's all I had for today. Until next time, it's Copper Mutant, signing out.